with Fitzpatrick gone, it's going to hurt him a bit, but we'll see. Just because I feel like they're going to start keying in a little bit more, not like 8 men in the box, but he's going to see a lot more often of those looks, right? David Montgomery had a really good game picking up where he left off last year. He's such like a scary back for me to draft or get interested in just because he had those 2 years or year and a half where he was trash and, he started splitting, Tariq Cohen was stealing his shit and all that stuff. It's not something I was interested in. Robert Woods, big last minute touchdown. Love it. Toe tap, filthy. But I still think, I think that's what you can start to expect from him. I think they're going to start flip-flopping between him and Cooper Kupp, kind of like those big games. Julio. Jury's still out on Julio, and obviously it's really new for Tennessee. Tennessee looked like trash, just in general. And Julio, maybe it's Tannehill not forcing stuff to him or whatever, but very disappointing to see 4.4 points from Julio. TJ Hawkinson, phenomenal start. Love his hair. It was actually one of the guys that I really wanted the Patriots to draft back when he came out of Iowa, which is actually funny because Noah Fant was also out of Iowa same year. 21.7 points, solid. Goff loves his tight ends, especially in the red zone. Sneaky, really good pick. I think he got him for $12. So, good for you for saving your draft capital, unlike me. Saquon Barkley, you're trash. We knew he was probably going to have a slow start because they had already said that he wasn't fully up to speed. There's a reason you probably put him in your flex. Maybe you're on the fence about it. I'm not sure. I don't know what you drafted him for. I'll take a look at that later. But 3.2 points is definitely not what you wanted out of him. We'll see what goes on over in the Meadowlands. I don't fucking like the Giants, so I hope it continues to be trash. 49ers defense, I don't understand how they had 11 points against when they gave up 33 against the fucking Lions, but whatever, you'll take it. And Jason Sanders, did enough, I guess, against the Patriots. Looking at your bench, because, again, love looking at the bench. Sterling Shepard at 23.8. We'll probably never see that again. Why don't you throw to Galladay? I got him in a couple of other leagues. Come on, Daniel Jones. Jalen Reagor at 13.9. Interesting to see how Philly actually, kind of deploys their really young receiving core. Don't know if you're going to get that frequently. Mike Williams, I feel like you draft him every fucking year, and he's always a dud. You got him at least for this game, but obviously didn't reap the benefits of it. I just get so scared to start him, and to be quite honest, I wouldn't over Robert Woods or Julio Jones. But until Julio, proves me wrong over 3 games or something, whatever. And last but certainly not least, we have the largest victory here where Pantone kind of got raw dogged. Brian Borgness, who kind of sat back in the draft and let everyone do all these stupid things, just sat back there at his little table, clicking his little buttons, whatever. And, he picked up a solid squad, at least from week 1. Tyreek Hill, obviously a freak. Amari Cooper, just wanted to remind the world that, don't forget about him. CeeDee Lamb is not as good as him. And Dak Prescott obviously loves him. Kyle Pitts did not perform how you thought he would, but I don't think that's going to be something that we see often in the Atlanta offense. I didn't like that he didn't get a lot of separation from what I saw, but, that's maybe me talking out my ass. Chris Godwin got 22 points for you. Wish they were thrown to Mike Evans, or at least some of them, share the fucking wealth. Matt Stafford, again, top 5 quarterback in the league, 26.34 points without probably even a fucking rushing yard. Chase Edmonds, 12.6. I'm just waiting for him to get hurt. Josh Jacobs, he did the same thing to me last year. He got me 2 touchdowns week 1, I think. And then I was like, yeah, perfect. Great $69 spent. And then he did squat for the rest of the year, and he was like RB10. Looking over at Pantone's team, you had Russell Wilson, who obviously is going to do Russell Wilson things, at least at the beginning of the year. You had Eckler coming up, probably playing a little limbed up with the hammy injury. Put up 11.7, so solid there. You got a surprise 17 points on a Tyshawn Williams. Who the hell knows what the running back core is going to be over in, or the running back situation is going to be over in Baltimore. At least you got Latavius Murray, Devontae Adams spent $70 on him, got you 8.1 points. Not the greatest return. Aaron Rodgers, don't know what the fuck you're doing. Figured you would have a little bit of class. I don't think you threw it, but you look like trash. It's probably because you didn't do a fucking lick of football while you were arguing with everyone. George Kittle, probably the meanest, runner in the open field that I've seen. He just looks like he's just always angry and wants to break people in half. But he's somewhat injury prone, so we'll see how long he lasts this year. Only 10 points, not great, especially when you're putting up 41 as a team. Brandon Cooks, 18.7 points. I'm sure you got a pretty good value on him. Don't know if that's going to be repeatable with Tyrod Taylor. Maybe the dude just fucking feeds Cooks all the time, and that'll work out for you too. But in the end, I think your running backs are going to be the demise of you, which, started off really solid 15 minutes in the draft and losing J.K. Dobbins. So, taking a quick look at the bench. Myles Gaskins dropped 10.1 against stout Patriots defense. That's pretty solid. Everything else, Devin Singletary had an underwhelming 9.5 as being the only running back out there. Elijah Moore, fuck you. I had your over of 3.5 catches, and you had none, or one for -3 yards. Tony Pollard, look at that, 6.3. It's actually more than Zeke Elliott. Looking over at Pintoni's bench, you have Marvin Jones Jr., who you've drafted probably every year for the past 8 years. 16.2 points. Again, don't know what Trevor Lawrence is going to do or how that offense is going to be, so definitely interesting to see. Phillip Lindsay, again, a three-headed running back attack out there in Houston. Don't know what the hell they're doing, but we'll see. Latavius Murray, 8.8 points. Almost as much if he moves the decimal point to match how much you bid on him. Very quickly looking at power rankings. This week's pretty easy. And again, stealing a little bit from Pete's MO there on the power rankings. I'm giving Brian number one power ranking. Number one of the power rankings. I think obviously dropping 166 is a statement. Week one. I don't think it's going to be repeatable for him, week in and week out. But as long as you have Tyreek Hill, you're always potential for a 30 burger from him. And Matt Stafford, again, he'll be plus 25 all the time. Looking at probably number two in the power rankings, I'm probably gonna give it to giving it to Mike Tidmarsh. Mike Tidmarsh, number two, obviously. I think he's got some solid running backs in Antonio Gibson and David Montgomery, as well as pretty good and Saquon if he ever turns it around. But Dax is going to be a pretty good player for him as well. And then a really close third is Kyle Bonacore. Obviously he's got a solid team with Mahomes and CD Lamb and Tyler Lockett. But again, I don't expect that to happen every week. I think your running backs are weak, and that's what's going to end up killing you. We'll go with Pittman, number 4. Kyler Murray, I think, is going to just be filthy this year. Cooper Kupp is going to take advantage of the top 5 quarterback, Matthew Stafford. Darren Waller is going to keep getting fed. I think Aaron Jones turns it around even more. Obviously, he's not going to always spit out 3.2 points. Jamar Chase, sneaky on your bench if you ever wanted to plug him in instead of Marquise Brown. Might be a smart move, in my opinion. We're going to look at Jackson probably in the 5 spot in power rankings. Again, I think he's got a solid wide receiver crew in Thielen and Allen. His running backs are pretty much unmatched with Henry and Elliott. I think I might have him. I'd probably be his competition across the board with the 3 running backs. Definitely outperformed him this week, but Derrick Henry again. He's going to be filthy. So, I'm going to say for the 6th spot, we're probably going to be looking at. Yeah, we're going to take a look at Greg Murphy is probably at the 6th spot with Josh Allen, Jonathan Taylor, Miles Sanders, and DeAndre Hopkins. I think those are phenomenal players. They're definitely will keep it competitive week in and week out, but we shall see. I think I feel at the 7th spot is my team, Swift or Sweet. I believe my running back's obviously going to carry me throughout this whole year. I'm probably going to have to figure out something at my QB. I was hoping Trevor Lawrence might run a little bit more, but they didn't seem to do that a lot. Obviously, my demise will probably be my wide receiver 2 as well as my tight end as being like non-contributors. But we will figure that out as we go through the year. Looking at the 8th spot. The 8th spot. I'm going to have to go with Greg Enemos here. I think his tight end, wide receivers, and I don't think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is good at all. Mixon outperformed what he normally does, so that's great. Diggs and Kelsey are obviously your big players there, and Justin Herbert's a very good QB. It'll be interesting to see what ends up happening, over the course of the year, especially with the Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But we'll give you the 7 or 8 spot, whatever the hell it was. 9 spot, right? Is that where I'm at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 spot. Fallon's V card. I can't give you the 8 spot, dude. Sorry. Your team looks like garbage in my opinion. I'm going to say Nicky O, purely because he has Tom Brady and Christian McCaffrey. His wide receivers are trash. I don't know if you're going to be able to survive that, but we shall see. Just got to be a big possession receiver for Ayuk, and Mike Davis needs to get his head out of his ass. Live draft participant. Actually, I'm giving Nick Cassiano dead last. Trash. Don't give me any more fucking grief about getting this out to you on Tuesday. Fallon's V card in 10th. Running backs are going to be like the detriment of him. He'll probably figure out some way to do something creative. I have no idea, but he always seems to like make something out of nothing. And then Pete, not great. Not a great start. I think you just have a lot of potential on your team with Najee Harris and Lamar Jackson, even though I don't like him. And Calvin Ridley is obviously going to be a workhorse for you. All right, guys. Sorry I, was so delayed in a publish of the Prognosis, but I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be back for week 2. Later.